I want you to picture this. You've been gone 3 years. 3 years of 16-hour workdays, of eating alone in a foreign city, of missing holidays and birthdays, all so you could secure a future back home. You land. You take a cab. You turn onto your street. And a stranger answers the door of your own house. Not a relative, not a house sitter, a stranger. With a deed, with your address on it, and your brother's signature at the bottom. I stood on that porch with my suitcase, and I felt the ground disappear under my feet. And when I finally reached my brother, he laughed. Actually laughed. Said you were never home anyway. My mother told me I was being greedy. They thought they had won. They thought I'd cry, fall apart, and disappear quietly. What they didn't know was that I had spent 3 years becoming exactly the kind of person you do not want as an enemy. Before I tell you what I did next, drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. And if you believe family should never betray family, hit subscribe. Because this story, it ends with everything they took. Gone. For good. My name is Olivia, and I need you to understand something before this story goes any further. I am not a victim. I was made into one, briefly. But I refuse to stay there. Let me take you back to the beginning, because the betrayal didn't start the day I landed home. It started the day I left. 3 years ago, I accepted a contract position as a forensic auditor with an international firm. The opportunity was extraordinary: double my domestic salary, full benefits, and a clear path to a senior role if I performed. I was 27, single, and I owned one thing of real value: a 4-bedroom house in a quiet suburb, inherited from my late father. He'd left it to me specifically, by name, in a notarized will. Not to the family. Not split between us. To me, because I was the one who stayed beside him when he got sick, while my brother Marcus and my mother spent that season redecorating her condo. Dad knew exactly what he was doing. The house was worth somewhere around $850,000 at the time. I wasn't looking to sell it. It was home. It was the only thing I had left of him. So before I flew out, I did what I thought was responsible. I asked my mother and Marcus to keep an eye on the property, collect the mail, make sure nothing went wrong. I even set up a small monthly transfer to cover utilities and basic upkeep. Marcus said, "Don't worry, sis, we've got you." I should have known right then. The first year abroad was brutal, but electric. New city. New colleagues. I was the youngest forensic auditor on the team, and I had to prove every single day that I belonged there. I worked through weekends, I barely slept. But I was building something real. I called home every few weeks. Marcus always answered cheerfully, "Everything's fine, house is great, focus on your work." My mother would occasionally get on and remind me that I was lucky to have such a supportive family. I believed them both. Because you want to believe your family. The calls got shorter, then more infrequent. By year 2, Marcus started going straight to voicemail. I told myself he was busy. I sent the money every month without fail. I never missed a single transfer. Then, 8 months before I was due to come home, I got a notification from a property alert service I had set up years prior and completely forgotten about. It flagged my home address. A title transfer had been recorded. I remember staring at my phone screen in my tiny apartment kitchen at 6 in the morning, reading it over and over, thinking the app had glitched. Because the notification said my property, my father's house, my house, had been sold. 8 months ago. For $850,000. And the seller listed on the deed was Marcus. I didn't sleep that night, or the next one. I pulled every document I could access remotely. The property records were public. The sale was real. Fully executed. Closed escrow and everything. Marcus had somehow walked into a title company, signed papers, collected $850,000 and handed my father's house to a stranger, while I was on another continent sending him money every single month to take care of it. I called him immediately. 6 times. Straight to voicemail. I called my mother. She picked up on the second ring, which told me she already knew this conversation was coming. I didn't even finish my sentence before she cut me off. Claire, calm down. Marcus needed that money. The family needed it. That house was just sitting there doing nothing while you were off living your life abroad. It was a family asset, and it was time someone made a real decision about it. I asked her how. How did he legally sell a property that was in my name? She went quiet for exactly 3 seconds. Then she said, "You need to let this go." That silence told me everything. She knew how. She was part of how. I hired a lawyer that same week, a property litigation attorney based back home, sharp and expensive, and worth every cent. What she uncovered in the following weeks made my stomach turn. Marcus had forged a power of attorney document, a fraudulent one, poorly constructed, but convincing enough that a distracted title company processor hadn't caught it. He'd used an old notary stamp he'd somehow obtained, forged my signature, and declared himself my legal representative for the property transaction. The buyer was legitimate. They had no idea. But Marcus had pocketed the entire $850,000. And from what my attorney could trace, a significant portion had already moved into accounts connected to my mother. This wasn't impulsive. This was planned. Carefully. Over time. While I was wiring them money every month. While I was trusting them. While I was working myself half to death thinking I was building a future. Here's what they didn't account for. I am a forensic auditor. Tracing money is literally what I do for a living. I didn't confront them. I didn't call screaming. I didn't post anything online. I went completely silent, and I went to work. Over the next 4 months, I documented everything. Bank transfer records showing every payment I'd sent. The original will leaving the property solely to me. The fraudulent power of attorney, which my attorney flagged with 3 separate forensic document examiners. Phone records. Text messages Marcus had sent me, including one where he casually mentioned finalizing things with the house, which I had brushed off at the time as maintenance. I filed a criminal complaint for deed fraud and forgery. I filed a civil suit for full recovery of the $850,000 plus damages. And through my attorney, I quietly froze every account we could legally touch pending the outcome. Marcus was arrested on a Tuesday morning. I know, because my attorney sent me a 2-word text, "It's done." My mother called me 47 times that day. I answered exactly once, long enough to say, "You told me to let it go." I didn't. Then I hung up. The civil case settled before it ever reached a courtroom. Marcus, facing both criminal charges and a judgment that would follow him forever, agreed to full restitution. The money came back. Every dollar. Plus legal fees. Plus interest. I bought a new house. Smaller than my father's. Quieter. Mine in every way that actually counts. Marcus has a criminal record now. My mother lost the portion of funds tied to her accounts and spent months in legal proceedings that aged her a decade. Neither of them has spoken to me since, and I have made my peace with that more easily than I ever expected. My father left me that house because he saw exactly who Marcus and my mother were, long before I did. He tried to protect me the only way he could. I finished what he started. And I don't lose sleep over any of it. Not one night.